So let's get into this Jadon Sancho thing again, because it's all that anybody's talking about, and it's pretty ridiculous overall. I think that he's been given bad advice from someone very close to him. I think that a family member, maybe a sibling or a friend that's in the immediate circle that does benefit from their person in the sport playing at the top level, kind of giving them whatever they want to hear at certain points, and that's dangerous. Tough love is a good thing, and he's obviously he's not listening to anybody in the organization. Yeah. Because the people in the organization are benefiting whether Sancho plays or not. Whereas if you're listening to only family and friends, they're inclined to tell you what you want to hear. Yeah. Because they're not leeching off of you. That's not what I'm saying. But some people will say that, and some family members in the past in other sports have. Definitely. They've bled their family athlete dry because they know that they have the finances to do so. Yeah. And again, I'm not saying that's the point. That's what's happening here. But he's obviously been given some advice to inflate his ego and kind of make him feel like he's someone that he's not yet. Not saying that he couldn't be, but Erik ten Hag also cut Ronaldo loose for attempting to lay out that he is bigger than the club. And if Ronaldo can't get away with it, and we have plenty to criticize with Ten Hag, managerially speaking. The team is in bad form, but also so are the tactics, so are the formations, the substitutions. Like what he seems to be doing doesn't seem to be working. So even though he does have a good track record of nipping that kind of ego issue early, he's not handling that situation as good as he did the first time across the board. The entire team is not doing what they did then.
I know in the days of Sir Alex Ferguson, he's going to cut you loose. Yeah, he doesn't care. 100%. But another thing is, and this is what a lot of people say, but the difference is that you as a coach, as a mentor, you have the responsibility of being the guy to whom these players look up to. So you cannot just go online and say things like that. And I understand, but saying that
things like that you're talking about.
I'm talking about what he said
about why Sancho wasn't playing.
Yes, you can't just say that out like that. Yeah, you could have said something else why he's not playing, but you can't say his performance and all this whatnot. Because people have feelings. But I understand Sancho and I don't. Yeah. So I would say this, right? As a player who wants to play. So he obviously he's hurt, and that's why he goes on social media and just lashes out. But as a 23 years old, you haven't proven anything big in terms of your career in football, in terms of you as a player. So the best thing you can do, especially at this moment and this point of your life, because this could be potentially I would say probably a career fall down, or could slow your career. So what I would do is just put my head down, work out, try to do the best, and prove the manager wrong.
Yeah, I mean, he had all of the reason to be just as mad as he was. I'm not saying that he didn't. Both of them, it's so funny. It's like Tweedledee and Tweedledum. Like what they thought in the circumstances, and even what they said out loud, were the right things. They just said them to the wrong people. Yeah. Don't go online. Everything that Ten Hag said about Sancho, one, he should have been saying to him in training anyway. Yes. Sancho should have been hearing this for months, and more than likely he was, which is probably why Sancho all of a sudden is like, "What the fuck, man? We've been struggling to make this thing work for months, and now all of a sudden you're actually answering questions." Yeah. In a way that does impact me and the public's perception of me and my confidence overall. Sancho should have taken everything that he said on social media and went to Erik ten Hag and just said, "Hey, that made me feel like you're casting off our club's lack of success on me." Those conversations, everything that was said should have been said just in a private room with the people that are being paid by the club to perform these tasks, not people like you and me that we commentate on the events on news, but we don't need to know all of that straight from those sources. Like a lot of those things, professionally speaking, they just don't need to be said out loud for us. If we get a hold of the news in some way, that's one thing. But what does the manager of not even arguably at this point, one of the 3 biggest clubs in the world.
Yeah.
What does he actually benefit from? What does he think his team benefits from saying any of that?
Yeah.
And then the player, what does the player think is going to happen when they say that?
They say that, yeah.
Like, am I going to start next week? No, you're not going to start next week, man. You're not even training with the squad anymore. Like, everyone that did these things, like, there was no reasonable way to assume that there would have been a good outcome from anybody speaking up like they did.
Yeah.
I just don't get it at all.
Well, from a player's perspective, the only thing that's left right now is for you to work hard, because at this point in time, his value could potentially go down, yeah, that's true. And I think if he had a club on hands now, he would have gone there. But that's because there's no club that's really interested in him at this moment. They
bought him for, especially on the wages that he's on, and that's a big, that's an obvious thing that's going to be adjusted wherever he goes, because he will go somewhere else. Well, obviously, we're not pretending that he's just going to disappear. But
yeah, definitely.
He was bought by United for $70 million, right?
Mm-hmm.
What's he going to go for now?
That's a good question.
30?
I don't think he's worth. Probably 30.
Because he still is 23.
Yeah.
And you look at
he has good potential coming.
It is frustrating watching, especially like if you watch his highlight packages or if you watched him play in full matches when he was at Dortmund. That player, it's very Kai Havertz like. It's the player's in there. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, it's captured on footage. It exists. It exists in the world. It's not Bigfoot, where the capturing of the footage is speculative or anything. But like, he's not been performing any way like he did then. But you look at the style of play, United don't play that way.
Yeah.
It's the same thing as Kai Havertz. Like, you want that quick guy with the quick layoff passes right behind the striker like he was at Leverkusen. So instead, at Chelsea, you moved Havertz up to striker, where he has no one to feed the ball to.
Yeah.
And you wonder why he's ineffective.
Yeah, that's true.
Same thing here. I mean, like, they're just not playing the same kind of style. He's getting no service from the midfield. That midfield is completely detached. And we'll get to that when we talk about the game. But, like,
yeah,
I'm not even a big supporter, really, because he's not given much of anything to support, especially because I don't like the club. But being objective, because I don't.
Yeah.
Being objective, you can still look at players in clubs that you don't like and acknowledge that they're playing very well. He's not playing very well. He's not very energetic, whereas he was a very energetic player at Dortmund.
Yeah.
And so it's partly the system, and it's partly a lack of motivation. Like teammates have gotten a bit more public about how he is just he's very lazy in training, very Eden Hazard like. But even Eden Hazard had like 4 years of being one of the best players on the planet. So like,
you gotta
prove
again, yourself.
Sancho thinks he's bigger than the club, and I guess we missed those 3 or 4 years where he was Eden Hazard, so he can take off easy in training. Because that was also the story in training at Chelsea at the time, was the players had no problem saying that he was a lazy trainer because he showed up on game day and did everything that he needed to do and then some. And that's the difference. Sometimes you can slack off in training. Everybody knows that Messi is not as hard of a trainer as Ronaldo.
Yeah.
In terms of the day-to-day practices. That's been discussed. But it doesn't seem to take away from him on game day. So it doesn't really matter. You train as hard as you need to play as well as you can on the weekends.
On game day, you better show off and show out. So that's about it.
And if some players need to work, 110% to do that, and they should. No one's saying that you because someone else gets to work at 80% that you don't. No. They can do that.
Yeah.
That's okay. It's objective. It's not a subjective art form or craft. It's like, no. Like, you are either as fast as that person, you are as skilled as that person. Like, these things are easily quantifiable against each other.